Okay.
I don't know where my dimmer is. I got a dimmer switch.
Isn't it right there?
Hmm?
Isn't it right there?
Where? No.
Okay, we live on the book.
I think we're gonna be. Oh, there it is. Hey, dimmer switch.
Hey, dimmer switch.
Are we live on it?
I just got the notification. Let's see if. Oh yeah, there we go.
We look good. Shoot.
Pretty good to me.
Look good, man. Shoot.
Check that out right there, man.
Where I'm at?
You right there?
Oh yeah, we good to go. 1, 2.
We on the
All right. Live on Instagram.
Live
I don't
on
think I
Instagram.
have an intro. So we're going to go right into the message now.
Right
This is
into it,
Jamil
yeah.
Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. You're listening to Like It Is. I got a special guest on the show. Who you is?
My name is Zion, but I'm also known as Brian Lufwada, house music artist, sound engineer, and just creative powerhouse.
Creative powerhouse. So we on the show, myself, Jamil Salib Zamir. Of course, we have a very controversial show for you today.
Oh, yes.
Might last an hour, might last 30 minutes, might last a minute, might last a minute and a half or 3 seconds. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, on the Facebook wall. The picture is clear. My son can see it.
Mm-hmm.
We're also broadcasting live on Instagram. I hope the quality of the sound is coming out very well. We're going to talk today about a subject most of you may not be familiar with, but we are going into the PassPort BRO.S. What is it? What is it all about? Why is it everyone in such an uproar about it?
Uproar.
Why are black women in particular, white women too, all American women are in an uproar about it, but why are black women in particular so angry at black men for leaving the country and looking for more submissive women, more couth women, more what's the word I'm looking for? Refined women,
Marriageable.
not loud, not fighting back in the street, not fake with all the fake hair and talking about they real and they looking for a real man, not the ones making $10 but want a man making $50,000, like as if though they deserve that because they got booties and breastises. And how can you tell what you got if you don't know what you got? Now, we're going to talk today. Parental discretion is advised, but I'm going to start it off with a clip. Can I clip it?
Let's clip it.
I'm going to clip it, man. Let me go ahead to this. This is a video to give you an example of what we're going to be talking about today. Great subject. I invite everyone to come on. I wish I had a call in to anyone that might go behind us and do another one of these. It'd be nice if y'all gave us a shout out. Amen. All right, here we go.
We're having a conversation. Join in.
We're having a conversation, so you can type it in. I can't see nothing. I don't know nothing. Here we go. Listen to this, then we'll be right back. I'm going to turn my speaker. I'm going to turn the mics off and listen to this black man talk about black women in America and why he chose to go overseas. Check this out. All right, there you have it. We're going to start right there with that statement made by the young man who says, you all are welfare babies, that your home is Planned Parenthood. You got babies from all kind of different men. And then you put that responsibility of all these babies on someone who don't make no money, but you telling them that this is a package deal. You got to take me with my fine self, all 5 of my kids, and you got to take care of us on McDonald's wages. And if you don't, then I'm going to tell everybody you ain't no real man. Yet those 5 children's babies, you let them get off the hook. They ain't got to pay no bills. But this man trying to open up a relationship with you and you're doing him unfair. So now men are saying we're going to go overseas where the women don't have no babies. They have self-respect. They have good jobs. They have their own hair. They have their own butt. They're satisfied with themselves, and they're willing to submit and open themselves up to a relationship to a man. And let me emphasize this. It's not just black men. American men are going overseas. White men were doing it forever. They would always go to Cambodia or somewhere, marry a woman, and bring her back over here.
Especially in the wars.
Right, especially during the war.
Vietnam and Korea and things like that.
Right.
You find out they got Korean children.
All kind of babies. Children. Me love you long time. So here we go in the conversation. We're going to start off with Kevin Samuels.
Oh, yes.
Kevin Samuels is the one, if you don't know him, he is the one who actually kind of brought that PassPort BRO.S to the light. He was not totally for it, but he was not totally against it. Talk to me about it, Brian Lufuata.
Well, you know, how I feel about it is, well, first of all, in terms of the American women, I think that there's a sickness that's permeating through all of the women. And it's not just here, it's in other places, but I feel like it's a I don't know, man. It's really nasty. Like with what you were talking about with the welfare babies and what he was talking about on the clip that you just showed. I don't even know if you saw this, but there was this clip going around of this lady who she had multiple children.
Right.
And they were all from different fathers, and one of the fathers was he would bring his child McDonald's.
Right. I saw that.
His child McDonald's,
yeah.
and she was upset because he didn't bring her other kids McDonald's, but that wasn't his responsibility.
Right, that's right.
So it's like, how could you have so little comprehension on how real life works,
right,
and be having babies?
Right, like you have all of these children that you had fun having, but now I'm trying to be a good guy. But you're placing all of this for my child now. I accepted your children. They didn't ask to be here, but you got to get their fathers to do that job.
Right.
So here we are, PassPort BRO.S. What they do is they get overseas jobs, or they're able to travel overseas, and what they do is they look on these dating sites, dating services for women who are submissive and willing, and the women are actually advertising that they are submissive, that they're willing to, they already got the money, all the things that the women in America are chasing the bag. They got it and have had it for some time, some of them. And they're saying, even though I have these things, I'm willing to meet you halfway to have a legitimate relationship. Now, Kevin Samuels, when Kevin Samuels died, black feminists, and to me, black feminists are a plus and a minus. Black feminists literally danced on his grave that he was dead. Why you pull that out?
Because I can't hear anything. I just let it play through the phone.
Yeah, literally danced on his grave that he was dead. This black man who was successful in his own right. I didn't agree with everything he said, but he believed that black women were taking their femininity too far. You're 16 years old. In the time that you've been on this earth, and the time that you've seen the internet, how would you take that? His point of view.
Man, the interesting thing about Kevin Samuels, I think that what spoke the most volume maybe wasn't what he was saying, but how it was received.
Okay.
Because I agree with you. I think I agree with a lot of things, and there was other things that I didn't necessarily agree with, but there was so much resistance against what he was saying, even though he was really just trying to guide the lost in the right direction. And I think that there's such a resistance to, I don't even know how to put it, but most people, they don't want to follow the blueprint. They just want to do it the way they want to do it. Just in terms of life in general. And I think that one of the biggest points that Kevin Samuels was pointing at when he would speak was that a lot of these women are asking for so much from the men and not providing enough on their part.
Right.
If that makes sense. And
1, 2.
honestly, man, it's the things that he was saying. The way he said it was the problem. If
That's
that
what
makes
you think?
sense.
Okay.
That's what I think, because a lot of people are not. The world in general is in a place right now where it's almost like if you approach things from, if you go straight into something,
Mm-hmm.
then it's almost like you're going to get resistance because no one is I don't want to say ready. They just don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like most people, they just believe that if they do things their way, it's gonna work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And what Kevin Samuels and what a lot of people now are saying is that in order to make a relationship work or a
Mm-hmm.
marriage work,
Mm-hmm.
you need to have certain things that's a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
And people that don't meet those requirements are still asking for the benefits from that situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got a woman who maybe she does or doesn't know how to cook, but she doesn't want to cook.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She doesn't find any enjoyment, or she doesn't feel the need to provide the things that the man needs from her,
Mm-hmm.
but she's still asking for the man to provide her with the
Everything.
necessities
Right.
and then some.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
With the necessities and the luxury as well. And
Right. So if this
it's very unfair.
right.
It's very unfair, especially.
But does she think it's unfair? You think now you can't speak for a woman, but given the way, and we're not speaking for all women,
Of course not.
but
No.
but given the way that things are going, if we don't address these issues now, I'm talking. I understand why women are the way they are, why they are protective of themselves, because men treated women badly. A woman would be a good woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she would be at home. She would be taking care of the children. She would be cooking. She would be cleaning. She would be ready for the man when he's ready. She would do all of these things. And then the man would go out and get another woman. But not only does he get another woman, he gets a fast woman.
Yes.
He wants the stripper woman, the woman with the eyelashes, the woman with all of the amenities. Then his wife or girlfriend turns into that. Now he's protesting about it. So to me, it's a two-way street.
Well, here's the thing. The statistics, you'll have to look up the statistic. I can't remember the exact number.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of single parents in the black community specifically,
Mm-hmm.
in the black population, is like 70%
Mm-hmm.
or something.
You mean
crazy
female-headed households?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the statistic was just focusing on single parents. But my point is, you're gonna grow up without things,
Right. That's right.
and one of the biggest points, and I believe Andrew Tate was bringing this up before, but
Andrew Tate.
yeah, a man who cannot control his emotions is dangerous.
Right.
Because a man can become powerful over time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And let's say that you have a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And in my personal opinion, I think that a female is born pure, and it's her job to protect that as life goes on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she's born with her value.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But being a male, like me right now, I'm 16.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing I can bring to a woman that's of value.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, some 16-year-olds think they do, and they think the penis is what is of value.
Well,
Because we are based on the pleasure principle.
There's value to that, but that can't be the only thing, though. That's not like there's balance to that, and not being able to understand that is how you corrupt the well. That's how you corrupt the water teat, because now you're going to these women who are born pure,
Mm-hmm.
and you are so unable to control your emotions. You have no sexual discipline. So you're going to these women, you're finding the women who are pure, and you're saying that I'm going to take advantage of that purity to get what I want. And a lot, I feel like a lot of that comes from the single parent household, and a lot of that comes from the household that doesn't teach the child how to have sexual discipline, because I feel like the parents kind of bob and weave around the sexual conversation, but the discipline is part of the conversation too.
Right, that's right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you can't like, going through adolescence is like a roller coaster of horny all the time. And the average age that someone loses their virginity in America, I believe, is 16. Which is my age. So I understand that having sexual discipline at my age is direly important.
Very.
And if I don't have it, then I might get into a relationship with some young girl who hasn't built up the proper protections yet, and I don't have anything to give to her, so I'm just taking from her. If that makes sense. So it's like, it's almost like it's a feedback loop of hurt people hurting more people because they don't know how to deal with what they have going on.
Right. Yeah, well, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says there is no such thing as a no good woman. He says the only way you see a no good woman is if a no good man made her no good. That's why I made the point about us treating women of value so poorly that she now wants attention, so she becomes what we give attention to. Now, women, black women in particular, I can't speak about no other race, and I'm not speaking about all other women. I applaud black women for their success in corporate America, for their growth, for their tenacity, for their fearlessness, and I applaud them for all of that. I feel that God is giving them the opportunity to grow. At the same time, if they misuse that opportunity,
Exactly.
then they become the same thing that they said the man was to them that made them the way they are.
Right.
So now you're beating down your king. You're beating down. Okay, he's not making 100,000. Probably never will. But you make 20 and he make 10. Together, y'all can live a decent life if that's what you want.
Y'all can have enough.
You can have enough. Islam teaches to lower your gaze. Work with your hands and make things, build things. That's why people think we have so much, because we don't have a bunch of money, but we're willing to get our hands in the dirt and do things. And so you have these women who are broken. That is what you are looking at. When you look at a woman who wake up every morning with her pure self and then
buries it,
feels horrible until she puts on lashes, hair, makeup, and has been doing it for so long that is who she identify as.
And that's what she puts forward. That's what she
projects forward. But you made a statement about a situation. We won't say where it was, but you saw a young lady who had no makeup on. Tell me about that. Don't say where it was.
Okay, well, I seen this young lady, and off seeing her for the first time, it was like, man, that's a beautiful young lady. You know what I mean? And I talked to her and I said, wow, you look I like the way you look. You know what I mean? And she basically said to me that kind of like when you get a compliment and you're like, I don't really look that,
right.
I'm all right, that kind of thing.
Right.
Then it might have been a week later, I see her again, and she she had the makeup on and the lashes on and that type of thing, and it was almost like I could see that her energy was lower. You know what I mean?
Putting on the amenities,
yeah,
putting on the fakery.
It was almost like she was covering up like a depression or something like that. And it's like, man, like why would you want to do that to yourself? And another point that I was talking to you about earlier is that doing that to yourself does not attract the right attention. It will attract attention, but it doesn't attract the right attention, because you cannot you cannot project a fake version of yourself forward
Right.
and expect to receive anything real.
Right.
You
That's a
can't
great
because
point.
I feel like it's so there's such a disconnect because a lot of the men that I have conversations with and that I hear talking are like it's simple. We don't want that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want my girl to look like an ostrich
Right.
with the lashes out to here and the
Right.
nails that are this long, got
Right.
the Freddy Kruegers.
Right. Right. Right.
We don't want that.
Right.
But it's what they do anyway. And if you ask, they'll tell you that they're doing it for themselves. They're not doing it for the men. But
Right.
the men that you attract with that fake stuff on are the ones that you choose to have relationships with.
Right.
And
They're
then you
usually
turn around, you like, where are the good men? And it's like they over there.
Right. You didn't want those.
But you didn't want those.
You want usually they choose the low caliber men, people they meet in clubs, people they meet on the street, tough guys. And like the situation with Blueface and the girl he's with.
Oh man.
We'll talk about that another time, but
That's a whole different
the young lady was in college. She
Running
had a
track?
scholarship on running track.
Running track. Beautiful.
Beautiful. And then meet this guy who turns her into that quality is already in her now because she had mental issues with her family and everything else. But he brought all of that out. And even to the point where he had a confrontation with her father, beat her father, and then told her father, I'm her daddy now. Now she's getting tattoos all on her. But that is where I'm going with men can break women. And so women get fed up and say, I don't need a man. And then women really literally begin to gravitate more towards other women. So they don't give men 100%. Men need the comfort of a real woman who's real to herself.
Like it's necessary though.
It's necessary. That is the way the spiritual grafting of man and woman was intended. The woman is the heaven for a man, second self of God. And when the woman withholds that, which is what this generation of women they are doing, they're withholding sex. They're using sex as a weapon. Well, why should I deal with you when I can go overseas where I work and find this woman who wasn't Americanized and she don't follow the rules of Babylon? She follows the rules of her upbringing and understands that the man is the man of the house.
Right.
And as long as he treats me well, I'm going to treat. I would take the trip if I didn't have such a wonderful mate and find me a woman like that.
It's complete, and not only that, but you have to look at it from this perspective. The value system is different.
Right.
So there's going to be, it's almost like a different environment. Like if you're in a situation where like here, the way I was raised, I always open the door for people.
Right.
You don't have to be any specific type of person. If I see you and you're behind me, I'm opening the door. I'm keeping it open for you.
Right.
Just out of respect.
Right.
Being polite.
Right.
You got women now who are refusing to walk through the door
because you open it.
when
Because
you
a
open
man
it for 'em.
because a man
Like,
holds it.
I can open the door myself. Why?
Right.
And it's what's happening now. Where you were saying before that women are being offered an opportunity to move up in the corporate world, which is
Right.
great.
Which is
but
excellent.
what happens when you do that is that you're forcing yourself to be battle hardened.
Right.
Because you cannot make it in this world
Without-
moving upward
right.
without having to
You gotta
do
be a
something to
beast.
yourself that's
Right.
not good.
Right. You got to
Right.
change.
And-
You got to
and-
alter yourself.
Right, and for me that's great because right now I'm a young boy who is at the lowest of his value in life.
Right.
And if I keep moving forward, by the time I'm 25 and beyond that, my value goes up because I've gained that hardness.
Right.
From making the decisions I have to make, and that would attract female attention towards me more because that's what they require to survive.
Right.
You understand? But
Yeah.
when you're dealing with a woman, you don't want a hardened woman.
Right.
Why would I want a hardened woman when I'm already hardened? If we're both hard,
Right.
then where's the connection happening?
Wow, where did I see that at? What you're saying right now. I was looking at an interview and oh my God. Lil Scrappy. Little Scrappy was on Little Scrappy is a rapper. And he was on he's on a reality show like Love and Hip Hop. And he finally got to confront his mom. And he grew up in a whorehouse.
I know what you're talking about.
He grew up watching his mama have sex and his girlfriend is hard. And he's crying now. And he's saying to them, what I needed from a woman, how can I get it from you? You hard. And my girlfriend is hard. So the softness I need from a woman, I can't get it. You understand what I'm saying? So that is what this in my humble opinion, this passport bros.
That's the point.
That is the point. I need comfort.
You're going to a country where the value system is still in a place where the men go to work and the women stay home. So they don't need that hardness.
Right.
And the thing about
Did you just say the thing about Right. Go ahead.
The women, man, is I feel like here in America they feel like submissive is a bad word.
Well, I mean, they've been Americanized. They've been fooled into. It's just like over in the East, how America went over there to supposedly liberate women so they can take off their burqas and their covers, put on show. Well, I was over in the Emirates. I was in all of the 8 Emirates, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, and women, Muslim women, were out prostituting. So they had their garb on, but they were naked underneath it. And as long as you're not doing it in the street, there's nothing they'll do about it. So they go out and they had female pimps. They had feminine sweatshops where you could go and get pleasure and all of this stuff over in the East. Women from America go to Dubai, and Cat Williams got in a lot of trouble for talking about this. The contract. They'll defecate on you, urinate on you, whatever you want to do with them. They come back here with 6 figures.
For money, a lot of money.
A lot of money, 250,000, 350,000. And then they come back here, sedity. Like, I'm better than, you guys are beneath. How can I be beneath you when you've been just peeing on a dude?
You was beneath.
Yeah, you've been beneath somebody else. You were just defecating on a dude, eating his defecation. You was low. So there's something in the mind that has changed, that men are not getting what they need from women. And women, you know, there are a lot of women who talking about the passport bros, and they don't feel like they're getting what they should from a man. But from a male perspective, you women can put all the BBLs, you can make your butt as big as you want. Eventually it's going to drop because it's not natural. So you better enjoy yourself.
Flop.
It's going to flop, and it's going to cause bruising, and you're going to have a miscolored behind. That's
very unpleasant.
It's going to be a horrible thing. So while it's up and perky, you better enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing.
Go ahead. Go on.
The value system here is shifting. And it's shifting in favor of do what you want to do because you don't have to listen to anybody else. And specifically in the favor of women and some other minorities and groups and things like that, but specifically women. Submissive is a bad thing. You know what I mean? You don't want to be the mother who stays at home. But the thing about mothers is, if you were to fight a bear, right? If I were to fight a bear and I got to choose whether I'm fighting a mother bear or a father bear, I'm choosing the father. Right. Because the mother will rip me to shreds for her children.
Every time I had a dog, I always get a female dog.
Because they go crazy.
They always protect me. Always.
Like my mother.
Right.
My mother is the strongest woman on this planet that I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
And she's
out of the three people you've seen.
Out of the 3 people I've ever seen.
You choose mom. That's great. Go ahead.
But the thing that I'm saying is,
I know what you're saying.
You don't have to like being submissive, being feminine doesn't mean you're weak.
Right. Not by a long shot.
Right. It means that you can be vulnerable when you need to.
Right. I can be soft,
but
when you need me to be soft.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like I just don't like people rejecting that because it's like
men need it. Young boys need it. Women think they're supposed to make their boys super super hard.
Mm-hmm.
But young boys need comfort, love from a female. They need to know what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
The same love you give them when they're babies, you hug them, you hold them, you do all that. They need that through their lifetime. And some women have understood that.
Mm-hmm.
And some women do a great job in nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
But as a man at 53, 54, 75, a man still needs a female comfort.
Mm-hmm.
You can go out in the street right now and find a 75-year-old man looking for a young girl.
Absolutely.
And he know he can't do nothing sexually, but he wants her next to him.
Mm-hmm.
Find me attractive. Show me that feminine quality, that God quality, and build me up for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because an 80-year-old woman, if she gets with a 30 or 40-year-old man, he will make her feel like living again.
Mm-hmm.
The way things are with the American woman and the American man, everybody feel like dying. In fact, domestic violence is at an all-time high.
All-time
because
high.
beating each other is nothing. And that is
Yeah.
the horrible example that Blueface and Christina Rock or whatever, that's what they're showing to our young boys and girls. Fight each other. He beating her down in the street, she beating him back.
Scrapping.
Scrapping like
keep in
men.
Mind, and keep in mind, you were saying you need the femininity at all stages in life as a man.
Yeah.
You need it.
Yeah, you gotta have it.
Now keep in mind, you got this entire you have this entire group of men, we call them incels, which stands for involuntarily celibate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about those men is that a lot of them are kind of bitter because of it. I don't like that right there.
Right.
I don't like that part of it. But the point of bringing that up is that when you deprive someone of what they need in that way specifically.
You want to talk in the air? Oh. Go ahead, finish it. Finish.
When you deprive
Hold on, Trav.
when you deprive someone of that, it leaves a deep hole. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean, look at the suicide rates, man.
Right.
Like the guy who just killed himself, Twitch. It's like you can't shift the entire culture in a direction that's almost rejecting the idea of a relationship in general because you don't need it.
Right.
But you really do need it. You just don't know it yet.
You don't know it. We are live. We're talking about the Passport Bros. Myself, Brian Lufada on the left of me, the right of me, depending on where you are. If you like the shirt that he's wearing right now, the 1941 classic by Jamil Zamir, that sweatshirt is available for $60. It's a $60 sweatshirt, custom classic from Jamil Zamir, 1941, Chicago. On the air right now, we got a caller in. On the air right now, sir. Yes, sir. What are you saying? I don't want to say your name. I don't want to get you in no trouble.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, so, I'm coming in kind of late, but, Passport Bros is definitely a growing community.
Uh-huh.
A lot of men are not necessarily looking for sex per se, but more of a deeper companionship
Right.
with women that give more attention to men's needs,
Right.
rather than the American woman.
Right.
And, I'm not saying it's all American women, but it's most American women.
Right.
Because, when you look at the American woman today, most would rather be single mothers,
Right.
not necessarily have the man in their life,
Right.
and do it themselves.
Right. Right.
So,
By choice, they choose to be single. They want that now. They got
Right.
a point to prove. But I also believe that some of that is because of the pain that they feel that they won't address. I think it's underlying pain from being tricked and fooled by men. Now,
Right.
and I think they've developed a hard shell, but we have to somehow figure out how to soften that shell so we can at least reason together.
Well, what I think another big thing along with that is the roles have, in a sense, kind of reversed. The men or the boys growing into supposedly men nowadays are, softer.
Right, I agree.
More emotional.
Right, more feminine acting. They feminine.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So if you have that, then there's no way that you can turn the woman around, because it's natural for them to be soft. But if the man is soft, taking their role in a sense, then naturally they're gonna be harder, because they already feel like they have to do it.
Right. So I always thought that with the Passport Bros, I understood it, but I think that they're neglecting a part of it too, and the part of it to me is the how to correct the Americanized woman, how to help her better understand that she's off her path. Because even in the Bible, it says that a woman should not usurp authority in the church. Now, the church is not a building. The church is the relationship. The man and the woman are the church. The children are the church. It's the family unit that is the church. But when the woman takes authority in that unit, then the whole unit goes awry. I know my father, God rest his soul, was never around, don't know what his voice sound like. But I know every time he came home, my mama would get into a scuffle with him. He'll hit her, she'll hit him, then he'll leave. Because it's like, I don't have no authority in this house. So I can go somewhere and find me a woman where she might not even like me, but at least she treat me like somebody. And I remember before my mother died, she said, your daddy never hit me unless I made him hit me. And that was in the 70s that I was seeing that stuff, in the 80s, the 70s. And now women are up in men's faces, making them hit them.
What you gonna do about it?
And I feel like what you were saying is that they're trying to bring manhood out of their man. Their idea of manhood is be tough enough to hit me. And if you don't, they literally start to call you bitches and hoes and all of that stuff. And until you get to that point, but how attractive is she to the man now that she's doing that?
I mean, I feel like, she's attracted to him, but, on a deeper level, she's really not. And that's why you find a lot of women nowadays, going outside of their home or outside of their relationship, keeping the relationship because it's easiest, something they're over, they can do this and that within their own relationship, but at the same time getting what they want outside of the relationship.
I agree. I saw a video last night, a clip of the man caught the woman showing pictures back and forth with a guy, but he packed his clothes to leave, and she grabbed him and say, please don't leave me, please don't leave me. And he's like, I'm leaving. And she didn't want him to leave. And then she starts saying, please don't hit me. Like now she's trying to trap him. So it goes in line with what you're saying. This just in a Americanized, and I'm quite sure it's in other countries too, but certain things are not allowed. Everything is allowed in Babylon. Everything is allowed here. There's no rule to nothing. Even laws that they say you can't do this, they just ignore the law. So the moment a person knows they can get over with it, they're going to start doing what they're doing, the same-sex marriages and all that stuff. That's another subject. I don't want to get into it with y'all tonight, so please don't hit me up. If you want to have wee or pee or whatever, that's your business. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But what we're talking about now is Passport Bros and people leaving the country. I thank you for your call. Anything else you got to say?
No, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, sir. Thank you very much for calling. Thank you. All right. That was one of the callers. Very good. Appreciate your input. We are 38 minutes in. We got about 20 minutes to go. This is Jamil Salib Zamir and
Brian
Lufwada. I want to play another clip for you all real quick. These are Filipino women who are actually advertising that they are now available for and beautiful women, and they are saying pretty much, look, we available. So let's look at this 31-second clip of how they're advertising themselves to American men.
See it.
Here we go.
appreciate American. At ChristianFilipina.com, we guide American men who have never visited the Philippines to success in love, and we work harder than any other dating site to keep scammers and fake profiles off our site. Visit ChristianFilipina.com today and sign up for free and find the love of your life.
Yeah.
And there it is. Real hair. One more. Let's do one more.
I'd like to give you a few reasons why.
Shit, because y'all women to get mad at me that we
Ain't gonna
selling
give no
sex
publicity
online. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
come on,
ho.
man. We ain't with that, man.
Passport bros are saying that they're tired of the Americanized woman with all of the fakeries.
Mm-hmm.
I understand their point of view, and I understand that America, especially young girls who weren't taught how to be a woman, and most young women think that their mothers were weak. I ain't gonna be no weak woman knowing my husband out there doing this, this, and this, and I'm gonna sit up in here. So they go out and do the same thing. Except for they get with a savage who wee so big that it break the condom, and when they come back home, they come home pregnant. And now they gonna lie to you and tell you this your child. And now you taking care of a child, 10 years later, you find out it ain't even yours, but she knew the whole time. So that's an issue. That's a problem. And because that's in the psyche of men, they're saying, well, I'd rather go meet somebody brand new and whatever comes will come, as opposed to knowing what I'm going to get with this fake hair, fake lash, fake. And listen, you can wear extra. And I want your viewpoint on this.
Okay.
You can wear extra. You can put on some little nails and add a little hair in. You can put some makeup on your cheeks, some lipstick on, and still know who you are.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is today, these young ladies do not know who they are. They come from birth fake and go into life fake. They would rather put a bonnet on their head and look like an Auntie Mama or a Chef Boyardee than to come out with their hair just combed back or slicked down or just this is me. But even in that, they will wear some spandex pants, no drawers, and come walking around in the store because what they got to offer is booty and breasts. And most of them, although they are educated, they don't have common sense. And although they are educated, they are so hardened by the life that they've lived that they don't know how. And this is real life. I know people who have women in their life that are just hard and pretty, but not attractive. They pretty, but they have no sexuality about them at all. Then you bring a man in your house and your daughter at 10, 13, 12 is more sexy than you. So now he looking at her instead of you.
Yes.
And you think you got a trained SEAL at home, so I'm going, I'll be back. And he said, oh, right, go ahead. Then you find out some things are going on. So what these women overseas are projecting, are promoting is that we the full package. Now, are they lying? We'll find out when we get there.
We'll
but
find out when we get
one
there.
One thing for sure,
you're going
to go, and you're going to have multiple women. And I know some men who go to the Philippines. I know several young men who go to the Philippines and date women there. They go on excursions. They go on the dirt bikes. They do all this stuff with these women. And I ain't got no doubt in my mind that they get some loving at the end of the night. Probably enough where they don't even want to come back here no more.
I'm renewing my visa immediately.
I'm getting up off of this visa. I don't need it. I don't care what country it is. I'm telling you what I know. In Dubai, the women will be virgins when you meet them, but they're masters at anal sex. Everybody done been back there.
That's crazy.
But nobody has been in their vagina. But they're gonna give you what you want. You ain't leaving there. As opposed to taking a woman out to dinner. Like on the internet, the fella took the woman to Applebee's or something. I don't want to go to no Applebee's. I'm all dressed up at Applebee's. And she got on a booty pants, belly out, fingernails, and told me she dressed up. She want to go to a sophisticated restaurant. You getting pork and beef. Give me your opinion on that.
You getting the 2 for $3
You're
discount.
getting the 2 for $3. And I'm eating half of your French fries.
I got a coupon.
You understand what
we
I'm
doing?
saying?
Like, what we doing? No, but seriously though, for real, life is, it weighs heavy on you after a certain amount of time, a certain amount of things. I'll never forget this. My father, one time, I don't remember what was going on. This was a while ago. I don't remember what was going on, but we had a bad week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just a tough week that week, and we had a lot of things to do. You were working hard. I was working hard. Mom was working hard. We just had a lot going on that week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget, we all sat down in the living room,
Mm-hmm.
and you were just so exhausted
Mm-hmm.
by all of the things that you had going on that it looked like you were dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it actually looked like you were dead. There was no life in your face. Your face was drooping down. There was no emotion. There was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
When you willingly make the decision as a person in general,
Mm-hmm.
to go through life by yourself, you're taking care of everything. You're paying your way. You know, you are taking care of all of your responsibilities by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That weight is going to become more and more obvious as time
Right.
goes on.
That's right.
And the thing about the women is that when a man looks at a woman and he sees that weight, he says, that would be too much to deal with.
Right.
Because with me getting in a relationship with you, I have to take on that baggage.
All of that. Right.
So what you were saying, where it's like, she leaves, she goes out, and then her daughter, who doesn't have that weight on her,
Right. Just innocent.
she
smooth
has
skin.
more value.
Right. She smells different.
Smells different. She has an entirely different
Innocent
aura
smell.
about her.
Right.
So it's like, I remember one time I seen this other young lady, right?
You be looking at a lot of young ladies, though.
Hey man, I'm 16. It's time.
Okay.
It's time.
I ain't mad at you.
I
Go
can't
ahead.
do nothing about it. It's not my choice.
Just control your P-Wang. Go ahead.
All right, but look though, she had her hair in no style.
Right.
There was no style in the hair.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing on the face.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair was like mine, but before I combed it down, it was
Okay.
just out like these.
Okay. Natural.
That was the prettiest
Natural.
young lady I've
Right.
ever seen in my life. And then,
Right.
plot twist. She came a few weeks later,
Mm-hmm.
and she did a little something,
Mm-hmm.
but it was balanced,
Right.
so she still looked good.
Look natural.
You understand
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
Right.
Because she had an identity.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a difference between accentuating what you already have and
Right.
burying what you already have,
Right.
for whatever reason that might be, which I can't speak on because I'm not a woman.
Well, I mean, people
You
hate
know what I mean?
themselves. We've been programmed to hate ourselves.
That's crazy though.
And that is for marketing purposes. Men hate themselves. Even the men who are going overseas
Mm-hmm.
looking for other women are hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
There's an abandonment in them.
Mm-hmm.
There's anger for women in them. There's
Something that they're missing.
There's something they're missing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not these just authentic men who just going, I'm so great. I'm that's like reverse. You know, that they're just as bad as the women.
Mm-hmm.
But too bad. How we gonna fix ourselves?
Can't, especially if we're not talking.
Especially if
having a
we're not
conversation.
communicating.
And
Especially if we're steady
yeah.
hiding things. And see, with parents, instead of teaching the child, they tell them do what I say because I say it, or they will hide it and dress the child up, and then the child looks all right, but they're not all right. So that child is going to produce these 13-year-old, 12-year-old girls are having babies, and they're producing mentally ill children. So what we're seeing in the Passport Bros is a denial on both parts, in my humble opinion.
Absolutely.
I don't know nothing else better than a black woman. The crazy ones too. I know somebody can fix them.
Wait a minute.
Somebody
Hold on.
can fix them, brother.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
What you mean now?
I mean that if you
What
can
you mean?
get to the underlying issue of why a woman is the way she is,
Okay. Now look.
and
now,
you
look now.
treat her in a way that makes her see that you're genuine in your treatment of her, she may not become a balanced out female.
Okay.
But I promise you will begin to see feminine qualities accentuate.
Okay.
Above. You will see.
I can see that.
I can say to her, "Don't put that on today. You look so pretty with just," and she may not even want to do that, but she will do it because, like the young lady was telling us out at the community fest, that she was learning how to listen to her man. She was learning how to not get angry, because anything that a man said to her, she get angry about. She said she knocked the man out, knock him out. And he got up, woke up, and wanted to knock her out. But now they communicate with each other. And so when he says something, she listens.
Yes.
And she pulled up in a brand new BMW. My husband bought me that. So evidently she's doing something right.
Well, at the end of the day,
In closing,
the biggest reason
we got 10 minutes.
I got one more point I want to bring up.
We got 10 minutes.
Afterwards.
Take your time.
At the end of the day, the biggest reason for passport bros, in my opinion, is that it's not necessarily the lack of femininity,
right,
or the lack of whatever other things you could point out, right?
Right.
It's the unwillingness to listen,
right,
to what men have to say about what we want,
right.
It's the lack of accountability for what you have done to make yourself who you are,
right,
and it's the unwillingness to change.
So
if you have all three of those things as a woman, it's like, okay, you know, we can work this out. We might be able to work this out. You know what I mean? But that it takes a special person to have all three of those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and that's why when you find a woman that has those things, you got to hold on to her like these.
Right.
Because you're not going to find women like that as much anymore.
Right. I encourage men who are in a relationship, women. I just posted it up on Facebook about 10 minutes ago. Give the marriage, if you're married, give it 3 years or more.
Give it a chance.
Give it a chance. Don't just you're gonna clash because you both have your own ideas of what is and what it. Give it time, and you will find the greatness in each other.
The clashing is normal.
It's a normal thing.
Here's the thing: the divorce rate is crazy.
Yeah, because they get
80%. Okay, it was like 50%.
Right.
Of marriages end in divorce. That's like somebody put. I think it was Bill Burr or some comedian like that. He was like, "Would you jump out of a plane if you knew that there's a 50% chance that the parachute's not going to open?"
Right.
Probably not. So it's like, man, if you're gonna get into a marriage, and 80% of divorces are initiated by the woman, 90% if she has a college education, it's like, why would you marry someone if you haven't passed the threshold of?
Because they want to have sex.
That's crazy though, and most people are having sex before marriage anyway. The average age of losing your virginity is 16.
Well, here's the catch-22 to that, though. I guess I'm using the right term, or the caveat, the catch-22. One of those. If they're having infatuated sex, it's going to feel good for about a year. They're just doing it everywhere, just excitement.
All right.
Then when it gets boring, you got to deal with the person that you're actually there with.
Absolutely.
And even to watch them walking around butt naked is boring. But what's happening overseas with the passport bros is that they have a smorgasbord of women. They're not going over there just to get one woman. They get to choose different women, and these women are saying, yeah, I have soft, sensual sex with you. I go all the way. But my cousin will do it too. And I got a friend around the corner that'll do it too. Now, women here do the same thing, but boy, they want to be on top. They rough. It's still not the same sensual love. You know what I'm saying?
You're not getting the same energy. It's different.
You cannot hide that frequency. A feminine frequency, either you got it or you don't.
Absolutely.
And I want to say this. I did this years ago, but I'm going to do it again. They did an experiment on apes. And how apes and their natural smell, the female and the male were attracted to each other. Then they started putting on these high-end colognes, Burberry and all this stuff. And the females and the males would no longer cohabit with each other. We think that these cologne smells attract the right person. But these cologne smells attract the wrong person because they're not your natural scent.
Now, this is very true. I agree with that.
Go ahead.
But we have to we have to chill out in some cases, because I wasn't paying attention to it, but I seen like earlier this year that some of the women were like rubbing their vagina smell all over their body and going outside, and they called it like vabbing or something, and they were trying to cash out on the concept that you're talking about right now, and I'm like, that's kind of crazy.
That's what Erica Badu did, though. Erica Badu sold her vagina smelling incense, and they sold out. They sold out before she could even get them on the market.
I don't know, man.
But the natural musk smell of a woman is matched with another person with that is attracted to that smell. That's a little bit grown for you right now.
You're right.
But a lady told me today, I went to a family, what did I went to? The Family Crisis Center to get some, what did I went? Narcan.
Mm-hmm.
To get Narcan for people who OD on fentanyl. Oh. And it was a black lady in there. Mm-hmm. And she said to me, whoever it is that is, when you have a child, you have to put into them something of value. Mm-hmm. She said when they get older, they will lose it. Mm-hmm. But if they don't have any value already implanted in them, you can never reach them again. Mm-hmm. She said you reach them by reminding them. Mm-hmm. Remember your past. Remember how we used to, and they can remember some things, and then they'll say, oh, yeah, I was a good guy. I wasn't always a bad guy. Mm-hmm. But if you can take their upbringing out of them, their root.
There's no checkpoint.
She says, there's no way to save them. Mm-hmm. Period.
I agree with that 100%.
So that's where we are with this. This is a big subject, and of course, my son is 16. I can't go too deep. But we went deep enough.
I wanted to provide my perspective, because I've been following the Passport Bros things as well.
Of course. I mean, I think the young people know more about life now than the older people because they're on the internet. Mm-hmm. And since they're not being taught, which I think anything my son asks me, I tell him. But since they're not being taught, they're going to the internet to find it out. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And I know these subjects are readily available to them. I know that the young girls have OnlyFans pages, and all of you went out and bought them computers for Christmas. You just started a butt-naked booty business with that new computer. And they got their door closed, they got the door locked, and they got their legs wide open. And there will always be somebody that wants it, and there will always be somebody that'll fill up their Cash App. But I guarantee you in closing, you will not check their Cash App. You will not check their Vimos and all of that to find out if they got $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on them. Because they can tell you they working and leave the house and you'll believe it. Mm-hmm. But they are working. And I said that to say this. These are the Passport Bros. Mm-hmm. The next time we come on, we're going to be talking about the 304 girls. Mm. The 304 girls, if you take an old calculator, that's their code. Mm-hmm. If you take an old calculator that's got the block numbers and put 304 and turn it upside down, it spells hoe. Mm. So they're the 304 girls, and your children are 304 girls, and they wear it on their clothes, they wear it in their fingernails, they wearing it in their necklaces and in their earrings, and you don't even know what it means. Hey. They have stamped themselves as a hoe.
Amen.
I do it for money. Look it up for yourself, and then we're going to talk about it next week. Anything in closing?
About the 304s, I seen it with my own eyes.
Own eyes.
I seen it.
They making bank.
I seen it. Not only are they making bank, but some of them aren't even doing it for the bank. They doing it for the thrill.
Attention, love it, the excitement.
Because that's a topic for a different day. We gonna go in on that later.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring up one more thing about the Passport Bros, and I'm gonna be quick with it.
Okay.
All right. There is
3 minutes.
There is some type of bitterness and hatred, and I haven't pinpointed the source of the bitterness and hatred yet.
Okay.
But did you see? I don't remember who it was, but it was like Michael B. Jordan or somebody was photographed with a white woman, mm-hmm. and the black women were going crazy, mm-hmm. and it's like, for what reason?
For the simple fact that it's not a simple fact, but it is a fact. Mm-hmm. Well, tell me why you think it is first.
Well, look, here's the thing. I think that in some cases you have the right to be critical of things like that. But I think in other cases, you need to mind your own business. And I'll add this right here. There was one lady who was talking something crazy. I don't even remember why she was saying it, but she was talking about something about all male black babies need to be aborted because we're not marrying inside the race anymore. And in all reality, every single race in great majority marries in their own race. It's always been that way. It will forever be that way. But anytime you got these celebrities, the black celebrities who are the black male celebrities now, because if a black woman gets her a white man or something like that,
she got a catch.
She got a catch. But the black men, they be getting them the snow ladies, the beautiful snow ladies,
the bunnies, Buffy and them,
the bunnies, and they're happy,
right?
And the black women on the internet,
right,
betraying us,
right?
Why can't he just get him a black queen,
right?
Who cares,
right?
And at the end of the day, I think that some of that is translating into the bitterness towards the passport bros, because it's like, why are you leaving when you could stay? And you know what I mean? I think that for the most part, that's very stupid. That's all. I
agree with that. First of all, I don't think love has. You can't help who you fall in love with. That's why I'm conflicted with the gay and homosexual and the white and black, all that, because you can't help who you fall in love with.
Right.
So I stay out of that. Like you say, that's your business. You do your thing over there. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Right. And if I'm talking about something gay or lesbian or mixed couples, I'm talking about it because it needs to be talked about. Right. That's why we're talking about it.
And I'm talking about it from the perspective of someone who does not exist in that world.
So
I'm uneducated to an extent, but that doesn't make my opinion invalid.
Right. So
you know
that's where we go. But with this and the passport bros, it's a big subject. Kevin Samuels addressed it. People like Vivica Fox, who just totally carved her face up. She's plastic from top to bottom. These women are a lot of them are sociopaths. They're literally to the point where you would think that they're sexual. You would think that they're a catch, but they got no emotions.
You can turn it off.
They can't. They can. It's nothing to them. Sex in the bedroom, you're gonna get disappointed. 50 Cent learned that about Vivica. It's nothing there. They just look pretty. And a lot of the women now, by the time I'm talking about in Clarendon County, young girls, by the time they're 15, 16, they done had almost 15, 16 partners, sexual partners. So sex is not something that you are giving your heart to. It's just something you do. And that's why when they cheat, they like, what you mad about? I don't love him.
Yeah.
Missed the whole point. And so this conflict with the passport bros and broken relationships in black communities in particular,
specifically
in our community,
a lot of that is because of the way a lot of us were raised. You know, the single parenthood rate in the black community is crazy.
Well, it goes super deep. We won't go there today because we're out of time. But it goes back to our sojourn to this country and being separated. As slaves. I mean, we just had to do things, and that's why I said when somebody implants something in you, it's there, so if you don't address it, you don't know it's still there. But all of these things was designed to destroy us down the line. And it's still destroying us down the line. We hate each other. We go from fighting whites to fighting each other to fighting the women to gays fighting we always in some crazy fight.
Fighting ourselves.
So and destroying ourselves, so we never get to gain much. I want to apologize to the people on Instagram. I think I didn't press a button so y'all couldn't hear us. I think y'all can hear us now. I'm glad that my son caught that. I thank everyone on Facebook for watching. Again, I only have 300 and something followers on Facebook, and let's say that 200 of them they're not on Facebook for learning. They're on Facebook for comedy and entertainment.
They're scrolling through memes at all times.
All of that stuff. So stuff like this. So I told my son in the beginning, don't pay attention to the numbers. They're not going to be a lot. I didn't want to have 5,000 followers because you can have that many. But I just want quality people who respond and give advice and do all the things that are necessary so we can build a community of people who can actually conversate, not only with adults, but like I'm with my son, young and old can talk together.
Absolutely.
As opposed to hiding everything, we can talk about it because it's happening anyway. Sex is happening, guns violence is happening. Boys, my son age and younger are looking at Chinese women online butt naked. They like that. So if they can get over to Asia, they go.
Absolutely.
Listening to the Love and Hip Hop and all of these shows like this and seeing the black women drunk, high, throwing up, spitting, fighting, talking vulgar. Who wants that? Gorilla Zoe, although she's a great lyricist to a degree, she's such a vulgar, she's so unattractive. But this generation thinks she's just the best.
And aspire to be like her.
But she's her and the other Christina Rocker, whoever, they don't take care of their hygiene. Their mouth, I mean, there's no God quality in them.
Nothing that grounds them.
Nothing. They float like a feather in the wind. And our young people are being attracted to that.
Yeah.
So what's happening with the Passport Bros has to happen. Some of the women are going to rebel, but some are going to rethink themselves.
It has to be that way.
It has to be that way. And likewise with the men. So rest in paradise to Kevin Samuels for being a pioneer in it, for taking all of the abuse and talking straightforward to educated women.
To start the movement.
And to the Passport Bros and to the Filipino and Asian women and all of them who are willing to give them a chance. Shout out to my black females, young and old. I love y'all to death. We got to do better. And to the men, I'll say it again, and I believe it. Wherever there's a no good woman, there's a no good man that made her no good. You want a freak. You want the hoe that dance on the pole.
Take accountability.
But then accountability. But then when she turns that around and give it to somebody else, all of a sudden it's a problem. We got to do better. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Hey, can I say something before we close off? Please,
of course you can say
please listen. I want to point out that we are not here for clout. We are not here to gain attention or anything like that. We are here to set the spark to start the conversation because I am a 16-year-old young man.
Right.
I see it. I see what's happening in the school. You won't even believe the things that I've seen that are happening in my generation.
Right.
It's very, very terrifying in terms of where we're going in the future, where none of us have any emotional control, no sexual discipline. You got the kids my age are doing some of the things that some of the people your age have never done in their life.
Right.
And it's like, if we do not open ourselves to being able to have conversation, to make changes about ourselves, to take accountability, we will fall into a pit that is very, very deep and very, very vicious.
Yeah.
Because
and the next generation, all of them gonna get
there's
it.
no safety net.
Right.
Once you lose your mental to something that is toxic, there's no safety net. So I just want to say that I just wanted to point out that we are here to set the spark. We're here to have a conversation. If you get offended by something that we say, you can be offended. That's your right. That's your prerogative.
That's
but
a great
but
feeling
you
to
also
be offended.
it's a great
Listen,
feeling.
Right.
But you have to look back and you say, why does this offend me? Why did they say what purpose did they have to say that? Because keep in mind, even from the perspective of people who can understand what the Passport Bros are saying, we also have to look at what the women are saying in rebuttal.
About the Passport.
And we got to listen to that, and we have to take that perspective in account too, because it's just as valid.
Right.
It's just as valid.
There's
you understand?
just work to do.
So we are trying to start
reverse.
We are trying to start the conversation so that we can put in the work that we need to put in.
Right.
That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for having me on today.
Hey,
I
man.
very much so appreciate there.
Come on, now, man.
I'm very excited to start the conversation, to talk about all of the other topics. I'm all for it.
Right. So thank y'all for tuning in. Jamil Salib Zamir, man in South Carolina, and the Sugar Hill Circuit for sure.
Nice.
All
And
right.
this one right here.
Stop it, but don't click off of it because you got to hit.
Because we gotta upload it. Yeah.
Put share and then type something in there.
I got you.
Yeah, let me hit this in right here. That's pretty good.